Welcome to Dorks on Sports, a podcast about four dorks talking about sports. My name is Daniel. Joining me today, as always, is Curtis Eastwood. Curtis, how are you doing?
I'm doing well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't believe that.
Well, my team sucks. I got my work truck lifted off my mechanic's lot last week, and so I don't know if it's in like Spokane or Bismarck.
Of
or
those two things,
now,
which one hurts worse?
Of the two?
Yeah.
Oh, definitely my F-250. I need that freaking thing to run my landscaping business. That's my heavy hauler. It was sort of my baby as well. So
that sucks.
Yeah.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, I've got a secondary work vehicle that I'm getting by on. But yeah, this fucking sucks that there's people out there that want to screw over a lot of working Joes such as myself.
Yeah, that does suck. We should go get him.
Yeah, we'll stick that Ken Norton defense on him.
I don't recommend that. Alana, how are you doing over there?
I am doing just swell.
All right. Just swell.
Just swell.
I notice for those listening to the podcast, Alana's background is a picture of Dave Chappelle. Is there any reason for that?
I just fuck him. So okay. There is a note as well that says fuck Dave Chappelle. I mean, like, if he wants me to admit that Hannah Gadsby isn't funny, to have a conversation with him in a cheeky way of saying that he'd be open to talking to the trans community, he can go fuck himself.
Yeah.
So.
This podcast is starting salty fast. I like the energy this is heading in so far. Millie, bring it on. What do you got for me?
Oh, darn it all, the heck. It was a rough week.
That's why you're getting cast in all the plays. That performance right there. How's the fantasy team doing?
My dynasty team, I'm quite proud of. I am now standing atop all by myself at 6-1.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm super duper proud.
You should be the coach of the Seahawks.
Maybe. I have to say, I feel like I have some talent when it comes to acquiring players who actually perform. And since it's a dynasty team, it indicates that I have a talent for acquiring players before they become the most successful. So yeah, I think I'm an excellent candidate for a job.
If you're listening to this, Seattle Seahawks, Millie's got a resume. Bring her in, John Schneider.
Check out my trophy.
Let's evaluate the draft. So, all right. Speaking of our Seattle Seahawks, this is this is the worst. This is the worst the Seattle Seahawks have looked in a long time. Jim Mora Jr. And when was that?
I'm taking it back to 1992.
Wow.
At this point, that offense, what rolled out on Monday night against Jameis Winston, it was just like,
stinky.
Our defense is doing good. Let's just shut down the offense.
Here's the frustrating thing about that too, is that I do believe that if Russ had been playing, we would have ran away with that. That
I
offense,
think we would have won that game. Yeah.
We would have won,
and we would have won the Steelers game.
I think so too.
We probably would have won the Rams game. Like the way
if he had stayed in the game,
like, and been able to play at full capacity. Yeah. Like, that's the thing. Like, you've asked me to be positive about this here. And the positive thing is, this is a return to the norm. This is not, I do not think that we have one of the worst rosters in the NFL. I do not think that we are one of the worst teams in the NFL. I was listening to Cairo 710 today, and they were talking about how other good teams like the Saints, like the Steelers, have 2 or 3 down years in a row, even with these Hall of Fame coaches like Peyton in New Orleans and Mike Epps. Sorry, not Mike Epps.
He looks like Mike Epps.
He does. I just forgot his name.
Yeah.
The coach in Pittsburgh.
Mike
Tomlin.
Mike Tomlin. Thank you.
And Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay.
And Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay. They're
Yeah.
all of these teams have over the last 15 years, have 2 straight seasons where they don't make it to the playoffs. And those aren't like the roof is falling in, everything's on fire, burn it all to the ground, let's start over scenarios. The only reason, and I think that this was pretty valid, that it feels like that here is because it's been a while for us. We've been winning since 2011. And B, it feels a little different because Russ might want out after this season. And we don't know where we stand with that.
I think
so. Yeah. But I'm not. I mean, like, these are all like almost every loss this season, with the exception of Minnesota. We were in that game. We were in the game.
Yes.
And had a chance to win, and perhaps it was a one score loss.
I was
We're
thinking
not the
about
Chiefs
this.
who are sitting there with their quarterback and
Absolutely.
going, why are we imploding? Is the defense infecting the offense? I mean, they are just throwing mud at each other, and they have top-notch players.
Right.
Yeah. And Pat Mahomes, who's the greatest quarterback in the league, is not playing well right now.
I saw a heading today. I don't know where it was. It was a link to an article. Maybe it was on NFL.com or something else. But it was like the heading was, "Is Mahomes turning into Jameis Winston?" Like, it was just kind of like, it was just like this league, the NFL is not for long, man. It's like,
that's right.
If you struggle a little bit, I mean, people have been jumping off the Carroll bandwagon, I think, for a few years now. And now, I mean, I just think like, I saw a poll on Twitter by a Seahawk beat reporter. I think it was Michael Sean Dugar of The Athletic, and he just put a very simple question out there with a little bit of nuance. It was just like, do you think that Pete Carroll deserves to be the coach in 2022? And 78% of the people that voted on that said no.
I just think that's reactionary bullshit, though. Like,
I tend to think
that's stuff that's been brewing for a while. Like,
I know, but
I think it's been stoked by the whole, Russ
let Russ cook
making all the. I think it's been stoked there, and I think it's flames that are sort of catching wind. I feel like.
Do you think that Russ would succeed under a Belichick style of coach? Because often as is often the case, you go from a players coach to a disciplinarian, and people go back and forth. I don't think he excels in that scenario.
I mean,
I think what Russ wants is
he
wants an offensive minded coach. He wants somebody from the Andy Reid tree, I think, here.
But and Russ doesn't believe this. Yeah. But I mean, I honestly believe of all 32 coaches in the league, Pete Carroll is the best coach for Russell Wilson.
I totally agree.
I think their philosophies are compatible. I think Pete has a gentle touch, and I think that's something that Russell Wilson requires. As much as Russell Wilson has a reputation of, being mentally strong and the kind of guy who's even keel and good under pressure, he's kind of sensitive to criticism.
He gets real hurt real fast.
He does.
And he responds. Like, when people give him a hard time, he will say something about it.
That's right. Yes. I'm with you, Alana. I'm not ready to jump off the Pete Carroll bandwagon yet. I was thinking about this because it was reminding me a little bit about Mike Holmgren's final years in Seattle, and where it kind of felt like maybe the league had left him behind, and the team that he had built, the super window, was gone, and everybody's either old or not good. And I was thinking about that, and I was like, is there a parallel to that? Has the league gotten like sort of left Pete Carroll behind, and is our Super Bowl window closed? Do we just not have the roster? Number one, I don't believe that our roster is bad. I think that it needs a few more additions, but that defense is talented.
And they proved it. They proved it last night.
And they proved it last night. The defense is clearly starting to improve, although they're still getting torched by the screen pass.
Plays.
But the scheme on the defense, I still think Ken Norton needs to go.
Agreed.
And I think Pete just needs to give trust in a few more people. I think he needs to give a lot more trust in his offensive coaching staff. And I honestly believe that he and Russell need to sit down together, maybe with John Schneider, and talk about what the future of this team should look like, because I think Russell Wilson might actually have some good ideas, because it looks like Russell Wilson wants to bring in more of like the analytics and more of these new concepts and younger coaches. And I think Pete needs to just kind of give over a little bit. Pete had he was talking in his press conference where he was asked about Russell Wilson and what Russell means to the team. And he said, well, let me put it this way, I've won, a lot of seasons over the past 10 years and I'm still here. And if I didn't have Russell Wilson, I don't think I would still be here. Like he obviously understands that he is going to ride and die with this quarterback. And I think they just need to get on the same page.
Can I just interject with my thoughts, because that was very telling to me too. There was something that I sort of got in that tone with him, where I wondered if he was sort of communicating, because there was something about his own coaching mortality in this town that he sort of brought up. And so that's A. So B, the other thing in that is it's been my observation over the last, and it's never fun to do a press conference when your team, blows it in a game. But in this one in particular, I feel like he just looked like somebody who is exhausted. Because he's being asked the same questions over and over again, and his statement is just like, yeah, I don't know, we try to fix this, we can't, he was sort of praising the defense on one hand, and also saying like, yeah, we gave up stupid penalties again, we can't do that, we try and fix it, they're still doing, and there was just sort of like I'm sort of looking at Pete, and I'm actually, Dan, how you brought up Holmgren's last year in Seattle, I'm really kind of starting to get a little bit reminded of that, where like in 2008, that was the year they lost Walter Jones to that catastrophic knee injury, and then Hasselbeck was out a number of games, and it ended up being a 4-12 season, and Holmgren just looked like he was just kind of like done, cooked,
and out of answers.
Need to move on, and Paul Allen was ready to move on with Jim Mora Jr. He just, and so part of me just sort of wonders if this season keeps kind of steering in this direction, and they just can't can't eke out these close victories, and they're just losing. If Carroll just kind of, if he's sort of contemplating maybe whether or not he'd rather just sort of walk away from this. And there's also, I'll just throw this out here because other people have been too. There's that USC opening down there. And is there an area I'll just throw this out there, would there be an area in Pete Carroll age 70's mind of going like, man, I could go back to this place where I'm going to be embraced, where my mentality suits the college environment, where I can quickly turn around that program and get him back into like Rose Bowl championships, and just sort of finish out the last, 4 or 5 years of his coaching career and have that whole thing go full circle. I think that would be attracted to him a little bit. I do.
What do you think, Millie? Is Pete Carroll cooked in Seattle?
Yeah, I mean, that's an interesting idea, Curtis. I here's where I got to on sort of the dichotomy of it all for me last night, thinking about how the last few weeks have gone and what's so great about Pete Carroll. And I was reminded of when the Legion of Boom started to fall apart. And we started to hear all of these grumblings about Carroll that pretty much equated to, yeah, he's great when you're young and you're new to the league and you're learning this, and he's the man. And there was some stuff that was said, I think it was especially by Sherman, where you just got this sense that like, but then he moved on to other people and suddenly I wasn't as special and I didn't feel special, and how I felt about him and the team changed. And he's so good with this young talent and they all recognize it. And yet what we have done year after year is trade away our picks to go after established players and older players, but they're not the ones that he's good with. He's good with the young ones.
Yeah.
The folks who are newer to the NFL, who aren't stars yet, the DK Metcalfs, like
bring it along, DK. Yeah.
Bring them up, bring these people along. And same thing with defensive players. He's clearly frustrated by this defense, but at the same, and I don't know how much of it he's really getting a hand in these days, but it's too bad because they did do a lot of things I thought were really good, especially early in the game. I mean, that drive by the Saints was like 8.5 minutes. And I thought for sure it was going to end in 7 points, and it didn't. It ended in a field goal.
That Jordan Brooks play, that was awesome.
Jordan Brooks played outstanding.
And on that they had to battle the Russ a few times too.
I think where I land with Pete Carroll is, if you want to do what he's good at, then do what he's good at. If you want to keep doing what you're doing right now, he might not be the right coach.
Yeah. Well, there's still a long season ahead of us. I think, there's an outside chance the Seahawks can get it together and get a postseason run like the Giants had in 2007. But it's going to take everybody on that team bearing down.
That's the new motto. Maybe we can be like the Giants.
Maybe we can be the Giants.
But the Giants
2000s.
Yeah, the Giants beat Tom Brady in the Super Bowl on that
an
season.
Undefeated Tom Brady. I know.
Sure did.
Anything could happen. Anyway, here's one thing I love about this week. We had 2 Seattle sports stars coming home. We had Matt Hasselbeck coming in and getting into the Ring of Honor with I wish he did I wish he'd done the halftime speech for the Seahawks.
Oh my God, that was amazing.
Because I wanted to
get up and run through my
Yeah.
It was you!
wall.
It was you!
Yeah.
Oh my God, that was awesome.
He's a good talker.
Yes.
And then we got Hasselbeck, and then it was just announced that Ken Griffey Jr. bought stake into the Mariners ownership, and that's just about the coolest thing that can happen. I am in love with that news.
I mean, when you have a former player, especially a black player, purchase a team and have some stake in the team, there are no, like, Michael Jordan is the only black owner of an NBA team, right? At least primary owner. And so seeing like Magic Johnson buy the Dodgers or be an owner of the Dodgers, and now Griffey, like that, that's wonderful news.
I think that's great. If you like to believe in signs, I think that's a great sign going into next year. We got Ken Griffey Jr. in our corner, man. I think, and he seems fired up about that team. So anyway, I think that's great. Millie, what'd you think? Hasselbeck getting into the Ring of Honor in that speech he gave.
Okay, so I still haven't seen the speech. I have to admit, I've not had time to go watch it. What I did get to see was him before the game on Monday Night Countdown, counting down some of his favorite plays. And it was really great to go back and sort of re-experience that period of time, because that's when I fell in love with the Seahawks. I moved to Seattle, in 1997. And so he's my like golden era of Seahawks, right? And those plays, I was like, oh yeah. I mean, I saw a game in the Kingdom when I first moved here, which was, before his time, but we were so excited for what was to come. And he reminded me of that excitement. And I love everything about Hasselbeck. I love to listen to him as an analyst, and I love it when he gets to talk about the Seahawks, because he doesn't pretend like they're not important to him.
Right.
And I will watch the speech. I really want to watch it. The Hubs and I want to watch it together. So we just haven't had a chance to do that yet.
Here's one of the things I love about Hasselbeck. And, he's been giving interviews, talking a lot about this last week about getting into the Ring of Honor, which I think is a legitimate honor for Matt Hasselbeck. And he often would talk about the highlights of his career or the best plays of his career. And the one he keeps bringing up most is Marshawn Lynch's Beastquake.
Yeah.
And I just think that I think that's great. That it's nothing that he accomplished. It's one of the most exciting things that he was just on the field to be a part of. You can tell that he loves the game, and he loved it here.
And that's the best run in NFL history. And I don't think that there's any comparison. Like
he said that he grabbed the ball because Marshawn got rid of it when he was doing his celebration, and handed it off to the equipment manager, because he said, this is probably the best run that's ever happened in the NFL. We need to keep this ball.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, no, the ball actually ended up with him. This was one of the stories he told.
Yeah.
That they put it back in the game.
Yeah.
I think he even said Marshawn put it back in the game.
Yeah.
And then his daughter walks off the field at the end of the game with that ball. And they were trying to figure out where it was. And he realized that it was sitting in his daughter's bedroom.
That's amazing.
Wow.
That's so cool.
So that's how they got the ball back to Marshawn.
I love it. I wish we could have won for him, but good for Matt Hasselbeck. He'll always have a place in my Seahawks.
I mean, the only reason we didn't win for him is the referees. And that's
and Jason is a shake kick. Yeah.
Right. And Jerome Bettis. And people were like, win one for Bettis. Like, why does that matter? This guy's just a guy.
Yeah. Anyway, good for him. Why don't we go into our predictions for next game against the Jacksonville Jaguars? I'm going to be honest. I don't know anymore. I just don't know. I know the betting lines are still favoring Seattle. I have no idea how this game is going to go. Give me something, Curtis.
Joe. You're asking the wrong person. I don't know. It depends what Carroll wants to do. Is he going to
just interrupt? The Kraken just scored again to take it ahead 5-1.
Yeah,
Kraken are doing well.
go
Anyway.
Kraken.
Yeah.
I don't know what Carroll's going to do. If he's going to give, I think he took the offensive play calling away from Shane Waldron in this one. I think he wanted to dial it back down, as if he had the LOB and he had Marshawn Lynch running the ball, and it was 2012 in that game. And I just I don't know. I mean, I'm a little nervous about Jacksonville getting that first W and scoring some points, and they've got a talented young quarterback. And I think right now teams could be sensing, they could be like sharks smelling blood in the water when it comes to what's going on with Seattle right now.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it could be a loss. But I am gonna reverse my negative trends, even though they haven't been wrong for the last 2 weeks. I'm gonna say Carroll is gonna allow Shane Waldron to call that freaking offense like a modern day offense, and we're just gonna narrowly skate by those Jacksonville Jaguars 24-21.
Oh, I like it. Alana, give me a score.
2010 Seahawks. I think that I don't think Trevor Lawrence is ready right now. I think he's started to turn the season around, but I think that we'll have some big defensive plays. I think we'll see an overall improvement of the defense, as has seemed to be happening. I think that I don't think that Carroll will get out of Waldron's way, unfortunately, but I think because the Jags are as crappy as they are, I think that we'll see another player or two like the one that Metcalf had in the first half.
Yeah.
The 84-yard touchdown.
That'd be nice.
What was your score? I didn't quite catch it.
20-10.
All right, Millie, what do you got?
And Myers doesn't miss a field goal.
Bold prediction.
Right. I think that the Jacksonville Jaguars, who were once one of my beloved teams, really just need to become the London Jaguars, because that's the only place that they win consistently. So I say it's a home game. We got a lot to prove. I think everybody shuts their mouths, opens their ears, and puts together a fantastic Seahawks win. I say the Seahawks win it soundly 24-10.
All right. High scoring games. This offense under Geno Smith is averaging something like 11.5 points a game. And the offense under Russell Wilson was averaging like 23 points a game.
Hasn't been that juggernaut offense we were thinking. By either quarterback.
But right. I think it's going to be a slow game. I do think the Seahawks are going to score a little bit, and that defense is much improved. And I think they're going to build on that. I am going to say it's going to come down to 17-13 Seahawks.
All right. We got 4 wins projected.
It has to happen. If they need a win going into the bye and just get some momentum going, get a win.
I'll tell you what doesn't look very good anymore, though, is that Sunday night football game on December 5th. I don't think we're keeping that one. I think that
no, that's gonna
NBC is going to be like, oh, we thought this was going to be great. Both of these teams suck.
Yeah. Is that when they do they start flexing at that point? Will they flex?
I think they start flexing at week 10.
Yeah.
So it's definitely
honestly,
in the
the 2 games after our bye against freaking
Green Bay and Arizona.
I'm kind of like, man, if I'm Russ's agent, I'm just pulling him aside and saying, hey, look. Let's just let's let Geno go a couple more weeks. Because I mean, especially if Seattle loses to Jacksonville,
season's over.
I'm going into John Snyder's office and I'm just like, start calling the New Orleans Saints.
Yeah. Yeah, but they're gonna win. I believe. All right. Well, you know who is fun to watch though? The Seattle Kraken.
The Kraken.
Did catch their home opener?
Yeah, sure did.
That was fun. They lost.
I was unfortunately in Portland, but I was following it on my phone.
They're playing like an expansion team, but they're still exciting. Like there's a lot of good stuff. And actually, you know, I'm watching the game right now. There's 11.5 minutes left in the third quarter, and they're whooping on them 5-1. I was reading that the coaching staff simplified the game plan a little bit. And are letting them just kind of like skate a little more free and a little more instinctually, and it seemed to work out for them. There have been a couple goals, like some nice setups and assists. Tanev had a really beautiful one where it was shoveled over to him. He was right in the corner of the net, and he just deflected it with the stick right in the net. It was really fun. I'm having a lot of fun with these the Seattle Kraken. It's nice being able to follow a team and have like an emotional connection to them, but no expectations.
Right.
That's what I have with the Seahawks right now. I'm
Yeah.
still emotionally connected. I just have zero expectations.
Yeah.
Right.
Just no expectations.
I'm an 80s. I'm an 80s. I'm from that era, and and I suffered through 90s Seahawks football. Like all these little millennials just need to
Yeah, they
suck
don't
it
know.
up and buck it up and get through this little rough spell. It's okay. They're
Well,
not
it's
going
like
to win this.
where we've been with the Mariners for the past 20 years. I don't know about you, but I still love going to a Mariners game. And it's like I just treat each game as its own individual sort of, not connected to a season or anything like that. And hopefully they win this one. But I don't know. I'm having fun. I'm rocking my Kraken jersey. I'm way on the bandwagon. I am on the Kraken bandwagon.
Nice.
Yeah, I know. I'm having fun.
Yeah, I got a jersey. The Hub's got a jersey. The dog got a jersey. We are ready to go all in. And you're right. There's so little risk and all reward because right now you're just excited every time there's a goal scored. So you're just like, oh yeah, no, we didn't win, but we played.
Yeah.
Hey, we got to play.
It's here. Yeah,
and this brand new arena is rocking and it's full of energy, and that's
I think it was on the Peyton and Eli's broadcast. Sue Bird was a guest, and I think it was this one where I heard her, but the Sue Bird is talking about retirement. She's 41 years old now or something like that. And Peyton and Eli were having fun because, Sue Bird has as many championships as the two of them combined. And they were asking, what are your retirement plans? And Sue was saying, well, I was at the Kraken game at their home opener, and that new stadium looks so good. Like I might have to play at least one.
She's got to do one more.
She's got to do one.
She's got to play in the
more.
You got to do one more. Come on, Sue. You got to do it.
Yeah,
I know. One of them, put her on the Seattle sports Mount Rushmore.
They gotta build a statue of Sue Bird right outside that freaking thing.
They need to, yeah.
The
Mount Rushmore of Seattle sports is Griffey, Ichiro, Russell, and Sue Bird.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, Alana, what are you dorking on this week?
It's been an interesting week. We started watching like two of the most serious shows that I've seen in a long time with Maid and Dope Sick. Yeah. And both of them are funnier than Why the Last Man. Like both of them find moments to be absolutely fucking hilarious. Whereas Why the Last Man, this comic book adaptation that actually has funny whole books, is not funny at all. I just wanted to say that because it's kind of blown my mind a little bit to have these full-on guttural belly laughs during a movie that's about spousal abuse and surviving on 35 cents in the middle of Washington, or a show that's about addiction to OxyContin. Yeah. It blows my mind a little bit, but that's the result of good writing versus bad writing. But what I really wanted to call out is I've been really I'm in a music exploration period right now.
Okay.
And it's and I value Spotify for that because I can do their, find a song I like and then create songs or a playlist from a particular song. And it's resulted in a lot of really awesome finds. And I found an artist yesterday, it was on Saturday. I went to Portland to help a friend open a new coffee shop bar movie place called The Fourth Wall in Portland. You should go if you're there. And this song came on my Spotify mix by an artist named Dizzy Faye, F-A-E. And she is a classically trained singer and dancer and makes music that is described as a fusion of R&B, pop, alternative, and jazz. And what it is, it really heavily features her voice, but then there's a lot of synth but it's only like a single synth line. So it's got that like kind of Prince quality of like just they find a groove and sit in it. And then the occasional drum beat. And so it's really sparse and the production is brilliant. This one song called Baby Pills, Pills with a Z, it's just like this extended synth line that modulates in speed throughout the song. So at some points you're grooving to it like this, and then it drops the tempo significantly while she's singing. And then there's a part where it just kind of like catches up to itself and goes back up to this up-tempo sound. And then in addition to that, there are these little just tweaks to the song. So I'm not sure how much y'all are familiar with music production, but I really geek out about it, or dork out about it more appropriately. She uses this chorus effect where she has like 3 voices that are an echo of her voice, but pitch shifted way up. So it's almost like it's often used to kind of demonstrate an alienness and otherness in song. I know like Andre 3000 uses it, has used it some. A lot of rappers use it for like a background vocal that's like way up there. She uses it in this song, Baby Pills, 2 times, covering 2 words each time. So you just hear like this phrase, you got, and then it's her normal voice, and then it's chorused on the background, and then it goes away. And it adds such a brilliant atmospheric touch to the whole song that makes it feel even more like off, but like you're in her mind. And then I listened to it 5 consecutive times because I had never heard it before. And it just kind of blew me away. And then I found her album, which is called the Freeform Mixtape. I highly recommend the whole thing. It's really supple, it's really sexy, and it's really also sparse and fun and weird. I can't recommend it enough. And then also making a Spotify based on song playlist will result in so many other good finds. So that's what
Spotify is great for that, and their algorithms are just.
But you should really listen to people's stuff on Bandcamp or someplace where you can actually pay the artist directly and not have to. Do
and
that.
what was the name of that artist again, Alana?
Dizzy Faye, Dizzy space FAE.
I might have to give it a shot.
It's
Curtis.
great.
What are you dorking out about?
Oh my God. After a very, very long hiatus, I think it was Saturday, maybe Friday night. No, it was Friday night I started it and I kind of picked it up again on Saturday. I went into the Madden wormhole.
You had to start winning some Seahawks games.
I am a 52-year-old human being with a 3-year-old kid and a wife that go to bed early. And I don't go into the den to watch my rated R films or anything like that. I play a video game. And the thing that I discovered why I gravitated to Madden many, many years ago was because many, many years ago, my team, the Seattle Seahawks, sucked. And the joy of playing Madden is that you can wheel and deal. I navigated into this freaking game, the latest one, where and I dropped a ridiculous sum of money to freaking download it. But I went into owner mode and it allows you to create your own owner. Guess who owns the Seattle Seahawks right now in my game? Curtis Seahawks.
Who does?
Ultimate fan. Don't ask me how I got the billions of dollars to purchase it away from Vulcan, but I own the Seattle Seahawks. And I went into John Snyder and Pete Carroll's offices and I'm saying, like, you know what? Right up the trade line, we're going to be sellers. And I got rid of Bobby Wagner and I sent him to the Cleveland Browns for a 3rd round pick and
sacrilege.
That's just
but I think Bobby was okay with it because they actually had a winning record. And I moved my hotshot young Will linebacker Jordan Brooks to Mike linebacker, and then I took Jamal Adams and I made him the Will linebacker because he's better down at the line of scrimmage than he is playing. That's where he's gonna make all the plays for me. And so now all of a sudden offenses have to deal with Jamal Adams being an off-ball linebacker, potentially at the line of scrimmage the whole entire game. Is he going to drop back? Is he going to go at you? And I got all that thing. And I dealt that 36-year-old left tackle, Dwayne Brown, to the Panthers for a 4th-round pick, and I bit the bullet, and I also traded away Quandre Diggs for some team for like another 4th-round pick. So I'm gonna I'm thinking I'm gonna go into the 22 off season, and I'm gonna wheel and deal. I'm gonna rebuild that team through the draft and through young free agencies. I'm gonna get rid of these high-priced, expensive guys who aren't playing at optimum levels. And
are you listening to Jody Allen? If you're looking to offload that team,
what's that?
Eastwood is, if Jody's Allen is listening, and she needs to offload this team,
because I'm going to do what I feel like a lot of people think is who've been have been watching this team for the last few years. They need a reset. They need a rebuild. They need to get young again. They need to get stronger at the line of scrimmage. They need to quit trading away high draft picks for older players who aren't, left tackles and defensive tackles and centers and all that sort of stuff. They need to start winning at the trenches. Guess what they didn't do against the Saints? They didn't win at the line of scrimmage. They didn't win. That 3rd and 2nd play with Collins up the gut was a total man. It just lacked conviction. It was just kind of like, I don't trust Geno Smith to do a simple play action rollout and find Will Disley out in the flat, just against the Steelers, which was like the touchdown score right at the goal line. Why didn't they run that?
Can I comment that your dorking is still about sports there, Curtis?
I know it's dorking because I played a stupid video game.
I know, but then you twisted it back to
8-year-olds and I'm 52 years old.
You're like, I'm not emotional about the Seahawks at all. Fuck the Seahawks. Fuck them.
Because I've got Madden.
I own you. Jody Allen, I own you.
Well, Curtis, good luck with that. I got to say, I've been watching the Hubs take the Bengals to 2 Super Bowls. So,
wow.
There's nothing like a little Madden to make you believe in a team.
Hey, I like that Joe Burrow. I think he's a good young quarterback.
What are you dorking out about, Millie?
I'm gonna go with a I don't even know what I need to hate on something for a second.
Oh, I know. I love a good hate rant. Bring it on.
So here's my hate rant, because it's October, right? And it's Netflix. And I was really excited for, what is it going to be this year? Because we've had Bly Manor and we've had Hill House, and it was so good. And then I got this horrible piece of shit called Midnight Mass. It is the most... I had to finish it. It was one of those. I was like, well, now I got to finish this. I'm so close. I only have 2 episodes left. I guess I'll finish it. It is just awful. I love a good, moody, drawn out piece. And that's not what this is. And if anything, I felt like I was forced to listen to an actual sermon just to get some sort of tiny little bit of intrigue into what's really going on in this small town. Oh my God, I hated it so much. And if you haven't watched it, don't. It's not worth your time.
My Facebook feed for the last few weeks has been flooded by people raving about this movie. So I love that you're bringing the hate on this thing.
The Netflix has so much content. I need stuff to check off. Just I know, but not that one.
It is awful. And there's Hamish Linklater, who I really like, this actor. He's so interesting. And he was just in something on Amazon that was super weird, which is like, it wasn't I Know What You Did, or Tell Me Your Secrets, which is a really uneven one, but ultimately, in my opinion, really good. And he's great in that. And I really like that actor. And he's the preacher. And oh God, it's just bad. It's really, really bad. And there's a couple things that early on that you're like, ooh, this is creepy. Ooh, this is a little scary. And it is not Hill House. And it's not even Bly Manor. It is not worth your time. So that is my hate on. And my love on, it's funny because I feel like it's not as good as the first season, but I've been eating it like candy. And that is Lock and Key on Netflix. Yeah. And maybe part of it is because it has that house aspect, which is part of the sort of creepy thing that I like. I like haunted houses. I like stories that involve the history of a house, and Key House is so cool every time it's in a shot. It's just, I don't know who built that set, but it is awesome. And the storyline is the storyline. I just care way more about like, what's the next Key gonna do and what neat like visual are they gonna come up with. And so I have been dorking out and just consuming episodes of that. I think there's only 10, but I'm almost done, and I'm having a lot of fun with that one.
Nice.
A friend of mine from college plays the dad who was in season 1, but not season 2, from what I can tell.
Interesting.
Randall. He plays Randall.
Yeah, I don't want to give it away. So
okay.
Well, I'm geeking out. The Kraken just won 5-1. So hey, go Kraken! All right. Here's what I geeked out on. I'm a giant 007 fan, big James Bond fan, and huge Daniel Craig fan. I finally got to see No Time to Die, the newest Daniel Craig, and I can officially say that the hardest I have ever cried at the movies was at the end of a stupid James Bond movie. I was just a puddle of tears. It was like it tells his story. His story ends, and it's all very final. And it was like all of a sudden, like the realization that I will never see a new Daniel Craig James Bond again. It's so stupid. I just like violent sobs in the back of the theater. At a dumb James Bond movie.
Were they loud sobs?
I had to like literally cover my mouth, and then I was like shaking. It was like it was pathetic.
Did Rami Malek make you cry?
Middle-aged man weeping at the end of a James Bond movie. It was a great movie. It was not as good as Skyfall is his best, and maybe probably
Skyfall
top 3 awesome. Of the entire franchise. But it holds up. It holds its own. It's well shot. I thought it was well written, and it painted outside the lines a little bit for like what a James Bond formula does. That I kind of appreciated. It also, one of the observations I had was, Daniel Craig is like 53 years old now. And, all of the stunts were like car chases and motorcycle chases. It wasn't a whole lot of like running around and swinging on things and like hanging from things. It was mostly like driving things. I thought that was funny, but.
The new James Bond needs to be Riz Ahmed. Like, I'm
into that. Yeah.
Put all of my energy behind that.
Oh, I'm into that. Yeah. I would love that.
Who is that?
The guy from the drummer movie. God, what else? He was in Nightcrawler. He's in God. Have you seen Four Lions? No. Have you seen he got nominated for the Academy Award this last year. I'm pulling it up for Sound of Metal. He was in Venom, the first one.
Yeah, I wouldn't see that one. I've got like a 3-year-old. I see things on Disney Plus. That's what I see.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Look him up. You probably will recognize him. He was in Rogue One.
Oh, was he?
He
I loved
played-
Rogue One. That's my
he played-
favorite Star Wars movie.
It's the only Star Wars movie that's any good. It's Bodhi Rook. He played.
Ooh!
Oh wait, I can go hard on this for a long
Oh,
time. We shouldn't
I'm a
start.
Star
We
Wars
might have
fan.
to keep
Be
that for
careful.
another podcast.
Yeah.
All
He
right.
played Bodhi Rook in Star Wars in Rogue One.
Which one was that guy?
Uh,
Okay. Is
Uh,
he the
Rewatch the
blind
movie,
dude?
Curtis. Yeah.
no, I don't think he was the blind dude. Under the Imperial cargo pilot, who under the influence of Galen Erso deflects to the Rebel Alliance in an attempt to steal the death. That's everybody.
Yeah, I need to revisit that. You know, basically, Rogue One is the Dirty Dozen in outer space, which
Yeah.
Dirty Dozen is like one of my favorite old school like
Nice.
WW
All
films.
I'm
right.
pretty sure he's at the very end of the movie with her, and they're like holding each other or something like that. But I could be wrong. Maybe that's also.
Oh, he's the guy. He's the lead then.
He's one of the leads for sure.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Well, I know that guy. Yeah,
So
kind of a good-looking guy.
Yeah. He
He'd
should
be
be our James
perfect.
Bond.
perfect.
I love it. All right. Well, hit the subscribe button. Go check out Curtis's blog, 12th Life. He's got some good stuff over there, 12thlife.com. We're here every Wednesday. Once again, my name is Daniel. For Alana, Curtis, Millie, and the rest of 12s, saying goodbye and go Hawks.
Go Hawks.
Go Hawks.